Sabaydi, hello everyone. I hope you are doing well and staying safe at home. So let's get started straight away and take out your student handbook and open on page 98. Okay, the trends. First, we will read the vocabulary. Yes, I will only read it one time and fairly quickly so we can keep the video nice and short. You can rewind and rewatch it. First word, census, rank, average, current, estimate, growth, determine, great burden, impose, fraction, tributary, infrastructure, life expectancy, decrease, ethnic group, linguistic, comprising, classify, separate. Okay, let's have a look at the grammar note. As you can see, the present real conditional sentences. If plus S plus V1 plus OBJ. Teacher, what is that? Well, if just means if something happens with something, the subject, then a verb will happen to the object. So let's read the example sentence. If the birth rate is higher than the death rate, the population will increase. So that sounds a little bit confusing, so let me give you an easier example. Take a look at this first conditional sentence right here. We use the first conditional for a real possibility, meaning it will happen or it might happen. There's a very good chance that it will happen. So for an example, this sentence, if I win the lottery, I will buy a car. Right. Now, when we are talking about the future, we are thinking about a condition or a situation in the future and the result. So you can think about it like, if I pick up my pen and let it go, it will fall. There is a real possibility that it will happen. So for example, let's imagine this. It is morning and you are at home. You plan to play tennis this afternoon, but there are some clouds in the sky. Imagine that it rains. What will you do? Now, the if condition starts if it rains with an S because it's the present simple tense. Then the result will be I will stay at home. If I win the lottery, I will buy a car. So you have to keep in mind that it is the present simple tense. So we are talking about something that might happen in the future. It's not happening now, but you think that it could happen in the future. So I will just take a moment here. You can read this paragraph by yourself so we can keep the video nice and short. Please pause. Okay, we can move on. Here are some more examples. Do you remember the two basic structures? If, condition, and result, or result, if, condition. So let's see. If condition and the result is the first thing. If I see Mary, it is number one. If I see Mary, I will tell her. If Tara is free tomorrow, he will invite her. If they do not pass their exam, their teacher will be sad. If it rains tomorrow, will you stay at home? And if it rains tomorrow, what will you do? Now you can notice that after every condition, there is a comma right here. Now, if it is in a condition number 2 where the result is before the condition, we will not have a comma. So let's take a look. The will plus the base verb. So you have your subject plus will plus the base verb. So let's take a look. I, which is the subject, will, and then tell, which is of course the verb tell, Mary, and then if I see her. Now this is the condition. So you can, like you will say, salap khang these two and get the condition before the result, or the result first and then the condition. So let's go over these examples. I will tell Mary if I see her. He will invite Tara if she is free tomorrow. Their teacher will be sad if they do not pass their exam. Will you stay at home if it rains tomorrow? What will you do if it rains tomorrow? So that is a few examples that you can use. Now let's go back to the book and take a look. Okay, in the grammar note, you can see if plus s plus v1 plus obj. Now this is the first one. That is meaning the result is after the condition. So you have your condition first. If the pen falls, it will land on the floor. So the second one, s plus will plus the infinitive verb. This will be the result first and then the condition. So the population will increase. That is the result if the birth rate is higher than the death rate. That is the condition. So if the birth rate is higher than the death rate, that is the condition. The population will increase. That is the result. So for number 1 you put a comma, and for number 2 you do not. So one more time, you can see here the usage talks about something that may happen or will happen in the future, and the other one talks about the same thing except it will or may be true in the future. So if you still have some problems with the grammar, please re-watch the video a few times and use my examples. Okay, let's move on and use these in practice at number 4. Okay, coming to number 4. Complete these sentences by using the first conditional sentences. Now the first conditional is just the one that we learned, and it is present simple condition. Yes. So here we say, if Lao people use Lao products. Aha. Now if is in the front, and we have our subject here with our verb. So that means that it is the first example that we use. So the result will be at the end. Right? So our country will be modern quickly. Now let's take a look at number 4, for example. Here we have our result first. It be crowded in the future. That is the result. And if most people to live in Vientiane capital is the condition. So here we just use it plus what we have learned before, will be crowded in the future if most people move to live in Vientiane capital. So take my examples, write a few down, and see if you can solve number 2, 3, and number 5. Make sure that you read take a look where the if is and where the will is, and if it's got a comma or no comma. If it's no comma, then it will be 2, where the result is before the condition, and if it does have a comma, it will have the condition, then the result. Okay, this is the end of part 1 of the video. We will move on to number 5 in part 2.